I figure I probably ought to say this, even though everything that I put up on my videos I know is the truth. Okay, but I was just watching the Donald J. Trump channel with Mark Levin, who's, I guess, a commentator with Fox News, and he was talking about how Pennsylvania and the votes, and then how he was essentially presenting, because I believe he's a lawyer, okay, which means, you know, this gets into the the bar, and then the National Lawyers Guild, which means they're card-carrying members of the Communist Party, right? So you gotta know the nature of this war that's going on this planet, which basically is a parasitic artificial intelligence in which the vast majority of people on this planet are running all of its programs, which are parasitic. Okay? So when you realize, number one, that a corporation is a fiction, it's dead. Okay? It's not among the living. Okay? So that's why they issued all the birth certificates. Okay? So that they could say, you are under our jurisdiction and our authority. No, they're not. I am among the living. I am not among the dead. Okay? They are. They represent the underworld. Okay? We're energy givers. We live in the heavenly realms. This was a war against heaven. Okay, so the United States Supreme Court represents a war against heaven. Okay, now Trump knows this. I know this. Patty Broussard knows this. The commander of the Earth Defense Forces knows this. Because Patty Broussard has an open communication channel with Trump. The Arcturians are here. Okay? So when you realize that so many people have been connected to parasitic artificial intelligence running all those programs that represent something that's dead, okay, that we're doing what? Killing off nature. Destroying the very source of energies that are loving you and giving you energy. Okay, so that obviously cannot continue. She's not going to allow it because she took the gloves off. Does Trump know this? Of course he knows this. Okay? All you have to do is go to Project Ascension. I've said this many times. Okay? All the work that Patty did was to restore the sanity. Was restore the grid. Which means a purging of all the parasites that are here. Okay? Because love is a law. 528. Okay? That's first law, which is first star. Which is let there be light. Okay? So a corporation doesn't represent what that is. Everything that they do is parasitic. They're not energy givers. They're energy takers. Okay? So that means that the entire political system that is represented by the United States of America represents a parasite. Okay? It's being destroyed. Okay? So what this means is that you got to pick a side. Which side of the cosmos you're on. Whether you are what love is in living light, in which you are not a corporation. So as I just posted on his Donald J. Trump channel about the arguments going before the Supreme Court, and there might be 4 justices about the arguments about which way the votes are going to go. When you're an autonomous unit of consciousness, we don't have political systems. Okay? In fifth density, we don't have political systems. So there is enough units of consciousness now that no longer want to be a part of something that is draining their battery. Which means you're choosing others to decide for you how you're going to live your life. That means you're not the author of your own life book. Okay? It's that simple. When you've learned to get your speed up, which is what love is, then obviously you are the rule. Okay? That's what first law is. That's what it means to experience the heavenly realms. We represent the heavenly realms. Okay? So this was a war against heaven. This is a war against the source from which all love and all light come. To create a cosmos in which everybody can live in a state of peace. Okay? So we don't commit acts of war against another star. Or another star system. We are the energy that produces a star. Okay? That's why when you wake up in the morning and you look up at a star, that's called a demonstration model. That's a teacher. You're learning through the cosmos that you're getting free energy everywhere you go through the stars. You want to become a star? That's what you learn through a goddess in her classroom. So when you're seeking to destroy a teacher in a university campus system represented by a corporation that is dead, then obviously you're not among the living. So you got to choose which one you are. You represent the underworld. Are you dead? Are you spiritually dead? Or are you a living spirit that is in living light? That's the bottom line. Because if you look at the prophecy by the Mayans, nature was going to rise up against everybody. Why is that? Because you're destroying her. Every time that they do something against her, believe it or not, I feel that pain. I have felt her pain for a long time. I spent 4 days in a motel room crying, asking her to let me heal her. That's infinite light, which is infinite love. When people begin to realize what it means to live in love and service to others, you are growing your Merkaba, and you are traveling at a higher rate of speed through the cosmos. You will get a chance to experience the heavenly realms because you are choosing to go in that direction. That's the pathway that we choose to learn through the light, which is what love is. And when you've learned how to be able to do that, you can grow your Merkaba and go faster. So when you're choosing to essentially have a relationship with a parasite, and that parasite is essentially now programming into your unconscious memory the programs and the realities that you experience, you're not experiencing who you are. You're experiencing what a parasite is in the mirror. That's a corporation. The Supreme Court represents a corporation. The political system represents a corporation. Did you ever get any public notice that said, hey, listen, all the birth certificates are no longer valid because it represents fraud? Fraud vitiates itself, which means it's not legitimate. So they need to quit all this nonsense and give out a public notice that all those who have had a birth certificate was essentially a way in which your parents signed us over to become slave to a corporation. They didn't have the authority to do that. Free will means you have a choice. I posted on my Facebook page for Until the Cows Come Home, okay, that I am an autonomous unit. Which means, as I mentioned yesterday in one of my videos, I do not attach myself to something else to feed on it, nor do I allow something else to feed on me. Why is that? Because we are self-sustaining copper-top batteries. It means we've learned how to be able to burn enough electricity to vibrate at such a speed that we're producing light wherever we go. They didn't know how to do that. They didn't learn how to do that. And why is that? Because they chose to have a relationship with a parasite rather than living nature. So they chose their teacher. They chose to learn through a corporation, which is a parasite. So they programmed you to become a parasite. Because that's what it is. So did you not think Mother Earth was going to rise up against us? Because you're not giving anything back. So here's the trick. Love is unconditional. Which means when you're burning that much electrons, you're a lighthouse. That means you are naturally giving away light without even having to think about it. Which means it's non-transactional. You do not have to give us anything. Just like that sun. That sun is not asking for anything back. That's how much the cosmos loves us. That it's giving us free energy everywhere we go through the star systems. That's what stars are. They are free energy givers. Now you would think, at the most basic level, that children would look up and go, wow, I'm getting free energy from a star up there. When that sun comes up in the morning, that energy feels good. Wow. Translate that into learning. Oh no, you're coming into our schools, little boy and girl. Sit in that little chair right there, and we're going to force feed information into your read and access memory. We're going to put into your memory now a program that you're going to run. So what does that mean? You're going to be running a program that is representative of the dead. So what happens? Now you're running a parasitic program. which means they didn't know the difference between what they are and what they're not. They became what that is. So instead of being an energy giver, they were learning how to be an energy taker. How many energy takers do we got on the planet now? That's why it was so painful when I experienced over on the island of Oahu, a little 4-year-old little girl that I've mentioned in my previous videos, when I was experiencing from her taking things. That's mine. That's mine. That's mine. That's mine. Walmart is an expert at that. All you have to do is run a replay of their surveillance systems they have in there and watch all the little children wanting to grab everything on a shelf. That's why they put it up there. Program little children to become parasites. Everything that they present to us in mass media, through all their telecommunication systems, is to program parasitic consciousness. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Yeah. That dog came right on over because it could feel you. It feels your energy. Because you always have so much love to give to everything that's living in spirit. And when you have so much love to give unconditionally, because that's the energy that you're running that's off the charts, that which is living in spirit, whether it's a horse, whether it's a dog, whether it's a cat, it doesn't matter. Anything that's living that's got a soul wants to experience your energy because it feels so good to experience. So their tags wail. Their tails wag. Of course. Their antennas are picking up on your energy. They know you're a love energy being. Of course, I've always got light to give you. Now you become a lighthouse. The teacher in this classroom is to learn how to become a lighthouse and not a dead corporation. We're not among the dead. So this is going to be very interesting to see how this plays out with President Trump. Because I know he's in communication with Patty Broussard. Which means he knows the Arcturians are here. If you go look at Lori Ladd's video that she put up yesterday, that there were enough units of consciousness to shift 5D, separating from the parasites, from the dead, which means separating from the underworld. That no longer want to be held captive to the dark. That's feeding on our electrons to drain our light. Yeah, it's over. It's over. They lost. Anyway, have a great day. I thought I'd share that because I had to let him know that. Okay? See, that one of the great things about living in the light is you can expose the darkness wherever you go. It's a beautiful thing when you are able to experience how beautiful it feels to experience that kind of energy. Because you have so much love to give everywhere that you go that it's like you can't bullshit us. Everything becomes transparent. Everything becomes transparent. Because there's one truth, which means there's one law, which is what love is, which is what light is, which is living spirit. Have a great day. I love you all. I'm happy as a jaybird. Ever listen to a jaybird? A jaybird squawk? Squawk, quack, quack, quack. They're big squawkers. I'll tell you where some of the biggest blue jay squawkers are if you ever get a chance to go up to the Angeles National Forest above La Cañada, where the old JPL facility was, Jet Propulsion Lab. Go 26 miles up, Angeles Crest Highway, up to a place called Charlton Flats, or the Chileo Campground, which is where I worked one time for the Forest Service. Go up there and you can listen to some of the most beautiful jaybirds squawking. They used to wake me up in the morning. I used to love to listen to hear them wake us up in the morning. It is unbelievable when you realize that the light is what wakes me up when the sun comes up, and you get to experience everything in nature. You're experiencing the real universe, experiencing a goddess. You know, everything that is living in nature that you are a part of, because there isn't any separation between what I am and what it is that we give love to. And when you are a projection and reflection of what that is, then you begin to realize you're doing stand-in duty. You're providing the higher anchored energy. You were anchoring the higher timeline. We're holding the higher timeline. That's why so many light workers and light warriors came in here, to hold this timeline, to shift. for when this was going to happen at the end of 26,000 years, which is graduation. That's what it means to graduate into the heavenly realms. So you had to know the difference between what you are and what you're not. Right? And that's what's so painful. Because of what they did here. They try and capture so many units of consciousness. Anyway, I love you all. Have a great day. We won this.